So let's get started with week 4 of the Sync 60 challenge. How is it going for you, by the way? Leave a comment below. Let me know how this is working out. I hope most of you are still sticking with this and you're still sticking with the challenge that you've set for yourself. This is usually that point where you start to realize that there are some skills and some dedication and some perseverance skills that you probably need to start really focusing in on to maintain your productivity and your motivation throughout a 60-day process, because we're just about halfway here. So this is where a lot of producers get distracted, I'll be honest, and they just do other things and they're really not interested in their original goal anymore. So hopefully you guys are still with me, and for those of you that are, I just want to encourage you and sort of just keep you motivated with videos like this to really make sure that you achieve your 60-day goal. I hope you're well on your way. You should be about halfway there at this point. And again, even if you've fallen off a week or something, don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be something that completely kills your motivation and you drop out of the whole challenge. Just know that for the next week, you got to catch up, okay? So Sync Academy members, make sure you do log your progress, go through the columns and mark if you achieved your goals for last week. Put that yes or no there so that we can all make sure that we are keeping ourselves accountable, okay? And for those of you that are not in Sync Academy, again, I do encourage you, post your results weekly to your social media accounts. Let your friends and family know how you're doing with this challenge. But today we want to talk about finding a community. This is really, really important. This was basically one of the reasons why I almost dropped out of this entire industry a few years back. I didn't have much of a community, actually. I had been in this industry for quite a while. And as the years went on, you kind of drift away from people that you used to know and work with, and you eventually kind of start to isolate and work by yourself. And that's really what I was doing for a long time. And it almost got me to the point where I was burning out completely on the entire TV film sync industry. So I want to help you avoid that in the future and not have to deal with that issue. And I'm going to talk today why finding a community to be a part of will absolutely steer you away from that situation, and also just naturally find yourself. It'll allow for you to be motivated and determined and have more fun in this business. Remember, if you're not having fun doing what you're doing for a living, you're doing it wrong or you're doing the wrong thing. So it's really important to make sure you're having fun with other like-minded people. So that's also why we're going to talk about this today. So we have some unique challenges as TV film sync producers in this industry. And let me talk to you about what some of those challenges are. As I just mentioned, it's a very isolating industry by its nature. We are in our home studios, we have our equipment and our DAW software, but we really, for the most part these days, are working by ourselves. In the old days, you would go to a studio. I mean, you have to pay a lot of money to go use all that equipment, but you would go to a studio where there'd be an engineer, a mixing engineer, maybe a mixing, any of that kind of stuff, and you'd be around other people and it'd be a little bit more social. These days, because with a laptop and headphones, you can be a player. It's just isolating. It can be, because this is just how this industry is set up these days through technology. Again, there's always a double-edged sword there. Technology enables us and it empowers us, but then there's the other side of it, which is that it does disconnect us in some ways. And certainly in this industry, we do get disconnected a lot. When you're isolated and you're working by yourself, it's easy to get tunnel vision of the industry. And what I mean by that is because if you're working by yourself for years and years and years, and you're working with maybe 2 libraries, a lot of times the deals that they give you, you think are just industry standard deals because that's all you've ever seen. Okay, this was an issue that I got into when I first got started, because I didn't have a community of producers around me that I could share info and knowledge and tips with. Whatever gigs or offers I got, I just thought that's what the industry can offer. So I'm going to fix my microphone there. There you go. Sorry, guys. There's probably a little bit of a hum in my mic. But I thought that was all I was going to be getting, was whatever was offered my way. So you can get tunnel vision where you don't really see a wider perspective of different kinds of deals, different kinds of opportunities, industry standards, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's another reason why isolating yourself can absolutely cripple you, because you could be signing really not so great deals and doing a lot of lots of work for not a lot of money. And if you had known maybe there's other ways and other deals and other things that are even possible in this industry, you might have thought about partnering with other libraries or even asking your library for a change in terms, right? That's what I mean by this. You have to remain motivated constantly in this industry. We've talked about that so many times, especially with the Sync 60 challenge, that when you're an amateur producer, you have the luxury of just making music whenever you feel like it. If you're inspired, if you're motivated, great. But if you're trying to do this as a professional, you have to let go of that luxury. You don't get that anymore, right? We have to take on the responsibility that we have to remain consistently motivated on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. Having a community is one way to absolutely ensure that you have that. Okay, and I'll talk about that more. long-term timeline to succeed in this industry. You guys all know that it can take years to get to the point where this is your full-time income. So it's difficult, needless to say. There are other industries where you can get started and get a paycheck within a couple of weeks, a month. Obviously, most jobs you're going to get your first paycheck within a couple of weeks or that month, right? So this is different. This is why only few producers actually succeed in this, because it takes a long time to get to the point where that income is actually supplementing what you're earning with your day jobs, right? So it's just really, really hard. And if you're doing something completely by yourself, you're stacking the odds against you even higher than you need to. If you had a group of like-minded people surrounding you, again, that's when you can go reach out for that encouragement and motivation, and other people can say, hey, I just got this success. It absolutely works. Look what's happening. That's the kind of stuff that gets you through those moments of doubt and uncertainty in this industry. It's obviously not much fun when you're doing anything, really, and you're especially if you want to get into this business and you're completely just isolating yourself and doing it by yourself. And I'm speaking on personal experience here. It's not fun. It's not something you really want to do. I am more of an introvert. I would actually say, maybe some of you guys wouldn't believe that, but I actually am much more of an introvert. So I do like to produce a lot of music by myself. But even I know for myself, I need to get out. I need to branch out. I need to reach people. I need to talk to people and communicate. And I need to have a sort of social circle around me, especially with what I do for work, because there's only so many people on this planet that even understand what we're trying to do in this industry. So that's why it's really important to make sure you're having fun and you're not completely by yourself while you're doing this, okay? And the cure for all of these issues is being a part of a really positive and productive community. Hands down, it's one of those things where it's a fact of life that if you are not surrounded by productive, motivated, energized people, you're just not going to get to your goals in life. It's just one of those weird things in life that if you're surrounded by you have six close friends and all of them are just they have no ambition, they're not really trying to do anything better, and they're naysayers and they're really negative, but you happen to be that one that's positive and productive and you want to do something better for your life. You hang out with those people long enough and you will become one of them. That's just, we are social creatures, we are social beings, and so that is just our nature, is we usually succumb to our surroundings and to the people that we surround ourselves with. So if you're not surrounded by really positive, hardworking, motivated producers, that would be something to start looking at, starting to create. And I'm going to talk to you in a presentation how to find those communities, okay? Let's talk about first, though, what a community actually will do for you in your career, okay, and in your life in general. You obviously create camaraderie with like-minded people, okay? So, and especially with sync licensing, that's what I mean also. Musicians, you can obviously have musician friends, bandmates, that kind of a thing. But even when you go even to a smaller niche of musicians and producers who understand sync licensing, TV film licensing, you even have much more in common, right? Because this is a sub niche of the music industry, and only a few musicians and producers even know what's going on in this business and what it really takes to succeed. So it's really cool when you can get that connection with other people who know what you're going through. You can share knowledge and wisdom, and this is the stuff you can't just Google, okay? Not everything is a Google search away. There is some knowledge and there's some tips and there's some life wisdom that you can get from people around you that you would never read in a blog, see on a video, get anywhere else, okay? That's why being a part of a community can also actually make you more money and save you headaches and save you money in the long run, because you'll get this sort of, hey, don't make my mistakes sort of stories. And that's the stuff that maybe isn't shared out there online or maybe anywhere else in a book or something like that. So this is the kind of stuff that you can't just do a Google search on to find. You create healthy and friendly competition, right? So if you're with other people that are also going for a similar goal and somebody says, hey, I just knocked out, 6 tracks for this opportunity, it makes you go, oh man, he's working or she's working. I got to get going, right? So it's not, where you're trying to battle each other out and knock each other out of the industry, but it is this friendly, healthy competition of like, okay, well, he's hustling. I want to get to that level where I'm hustling too. So you create this kind of fire under yourself because you want to keep up with your community. And that's why, like I said, if you're surrounded by people that don't really work that hard, they don't have a lot of ambition, where's that fire? Because you're already zooming past everybody around you, right? You don't want to be the 10 out of 10 guy surrounded by people who are 4 out of 10s. You want to be surrounded with people who are on your same level or even above you so that you can look up and go, where are they going? Wow, look at what they're doing. And so that encourages you to try to get to their level, right? This is just kind of like basic stuff here. In a community, you push each other to keep going, right? For those days, weeks, months sometimes where you feel like, I just don't want to do this. you can reach out. And these are people that specifically know what you're going through in this industry. Okay, they're not just musicians, just producers, but people who understand what it's like in the sync licensing business. That frustrating getting that royalty check that's not really exciting, or waiting months and months and months to finally get your first check, or getting accepted by a library and then like hoping you get those placements as soon as possible. Right? These are only issues that sync licensing producers go through. So that's why you can push each other and get that motivation and help when you need it. Right? You can get peer feedback on your music. Really, really important thing. I love doing this. When I was very isolated through about 3 years ago at this point, I was not sending my tracks to anybody to have them take a listen. Like, what do you think about this? And I realized that's a really big part of my life that I was missing, is that I wanted to share my art and my creativity with people that I respected and get feedback on it and get some notes and get, oh, cool, this is awesome, maybe try this. And then I wanted to do the same for them. So this is one of those things where if you send it to a library and they just go, cool, we like it, or no, we don't like it, okay, you get accepted. That's obviously awesome. But also just being able to share your music with people who understand what you're trying to do. It feels really good. I mean, let's just be honest. We all have egos. We all want to put our music on display in some sort, right? That's why we're doing this sync licensing business to begin with. So to be able to share your music with other people who understand it, who get it, it's really fun, and it actually definitely does give you that sort of like boost of energy and encouragement when you get that feedback from your tracks, right? And when you get into a group, basically what you can do is, as a group of people, you can collectively raise all of your standards. So as a group, kind of what we're doing here with Sync 60 Challenge, right, is we've created a 60-day goal to do something maybe above and beyond what we've ever done in our careers before. This is possible in a group-like setting because now you have somebody to hold you accountable. If you're posting on your social media, you have your friends and family. If you're in Sync Academy, you have your progress chart, right? So there are people looking at you right now. There's a community of people that are participating in this, right? So as a group, we are raising our standards and doing something above and beyond what we've done before. At the end of all of it, what you're really going to do when you join a group and a community is you become a member of a winning team. And that is such a powerful feeling to know that the group of people that I've surrounded myself with are winners. We are hardworking. We are motivated. We are productive. We're not whiners. We're not complainers. We're not gossipers. We're trying to solve problems. We're trying to serve the industry. We're trying to actually produce something with our careers, okay? When you surround yourself with that winning team, if those of you that have been in a band, you know this feeling. Like when you're on stage, and the bassist is just killing it, the drummer's totally on beat, the guitar player's wailing, the singer's totally on pitch, and everybody's just doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and they've done their rehearsing and they're practicing and they're totally bringing it to the performance. How great does that feel to know that this is my team, we are the winners, right? We win here. That's really something that gets you going. That really gets your blood boiling in the right direction, right? You don't get mad, obviously, but you get really excited and motivated to be a part of that kind of a thing, okay? So let's talk about some quick ways that you can maybe find this community, okay? First of all, I do think the best kind you can ever try to get is local. And I mean like in real life, people you can actually meet, go to a coffee shop or go to each other's studio, whatever it is, in your hometown. I really do think the personalized social interactions is probably your best bet to have that camaraderie, to have that community, to really feel like you're a part of some real kind of a team. I really do think it is the best kind, okay? So some ways you can do that, obviously you can post flyers, you can do Craigslist ads, posting that you're looking to start some sort of a meetup group or something like that. You can go to local music shops, they have those flyering bulletins, you can post it up there. Again, it might be tricky because not a lot of producers know about TV film licensing. So again, you might not find a large number of people, but you'd be surprised. In every town, there's probably a couple of guys that are out there doing this. Now you hope that you can find them, with posting flyers, Craigslist ads, or maybe you can just even post on social media. You can obviously do that and just try to spread the word. So these are just some ideas to do it. Obviously, easier said than done. I know finding people that are exactly into this thing in your local town might be a tricky thing to do. The next best, though, obviously would be an online group because obviously now you have reach all over the world and obviously all over the country. So you have just more options to find people, okay? There are tons of forums online. There's Facebook groups. There's other social media groups that you can do. But I will say, caution, be careful of negative groups. And what do I mean by negative groups? Well, when I was looking for that community 3 years ago, I did go and try to join a bunch of Facebook groups, forums. I looked online. I was looking for a place to find that kind of community that I was missing. What I found more often than not, that a lot of these groups would quickly, if they weren't already like that, divulge into trash talking the industry, saying the industry sucks, blaming other people for their apparently not succeeding in the industry or not getting accepted by a library, saying the good old days are over, there's no hope anymore, trash talking, whatever it was. It was just a lot of negativity that I saw a couple years back. Now I know that obviously this doesn't apply to every group. Some groups are probably positive and they do great things, but I've definitely seen, especially with forums, I've definitely seen this be a big issue. It's a time waste. It's a time drain. There's like a wormhole that people, I see, you know, these posts just last for, you know, hundreds, thousands of pages long, when that time could be used towards making music and being productive. Okay, so I would say just be careful. Don't let it suck too much of your time. And if it's certainly negative at first glance, or you start to notice it, you know, that's something you want to just kind of be aware of, that it could be actually more negative for you than it would be positive. All right. Remember, the group that you join is only as productive as its members, okay, obviously. So if you have members in there that are not being productive, not offering solutions, not offering positivity, not offering motivation, encouragement, you know, if you're not getting a lot of productive stuff happening in the group, you're going to be part, again, of a new, not time-wasting kind of a group that's going to sort of drag you down a little bit. So again, just be wary and really do your research and find out who you're really joining and who these people really are, and what you're getting yourself into, okay? Obviously, with that experience and with the need that I've heard from a lot of you guys, this is why I created Sync Academy. So those of you in the group, you guys already know this kind of stuff. Only hardworking, motivated producers are wanted in this group, okay? If somebody is being negative, if somebody is being a time drain, if somebody is only bringing problems to the platform, bye-bye, I let them go, okay? We don't have time for that. We don't need that in this group. Only if I'm not expecting you to have all the answers. You can obviously, and you're supposed to, post questions, concerns, all that kind of stuff. That's what this is for. But I do really monitor who joins the group, how they behave, and what they're doing inside of it, because I know that if you get a couple of real negative people in there, it can drag the whole thing down, and the whole atmosphere can really get damaged by it. So I protect this thing like my baby. I really make sure that only motivated people are joining. Gossip, industry bashing, and spamming is not allowed in the group. So I don't allow any of that kind of stuff here, to make sure you guys are not being distracted by stuff that's really not productive for you, and to make sure, obviously, not every time you log in, it's this absolute, like, you know, Craigslist ad kind of a thing where there's just tons and tons of spammy links all over the place. Nope, don't allow any of that side the platform. When you log into Sync Academy, and for those of you that are in it now, the point of it is that every day that you come in, you should learn something, you should discover something, you should share something, you should connect with something, watch a tutorial, get inspired by videos like this. There should be something that you're doing to progress your career every single day, and not get distracted by things that are maybe outside of your control, or trashing the industry, or talking negatively about it, without also thinking about how can you be proactive in the future, okay? So I do like people that are optimistic, looking for opportunities, and feel that the best days are ahead of them. And we obviously in Sync Academy focus on what actions we can take to succeed, okay? So even if something is broken in the industry, there's something that could be improved, we don't just sit and dwell on how terrible that is, and that sucks for us, and man, the good old days, that'd be great if we could get back to that. No, we don't sit and dwell there. We think about, well, what could we do about it? If we can't do anything about it, then we need to adjust our strategy, right? We need to do something different with our careers. Or if we can do something about it, what can be done about it, and what actions can we take? It's much more empowering to be a part of a group that's doing that kind of stuff and thinking that way than the gossip bashing types, right? That's why I make sure that this is a really positive place to be. So that's my talk on finding a community. Very, very important stuff. I hope you guys do find your community and join one, okay? Next week, we're going to talk about finding motivation on a daily basis. As I said before in this presentation, being inspired and motivated every single day, it's a must. You're going to have to find that motivation, inspiration in some form, one way or another. And it's not going to always be there. Spoiler alert, there are going to be days, weeks, maybe even months where you just don't feel like making music. So what do you do? Because we're no longer in amateur producing land where we can just have that luxury to not produce. We've got to be ready to go on a daily basis, right? So these are going to be some strategies that I'm going to share with you about how to make sure you find that motivation every single day, every single week in this industry. So don't miss out on next week's video, and get back to work, guys. All right, we're starting the next week. So now is your time. Get that next week's accomplished. If you didn't get last week's accomplished, or maybe you're 2 weeks behind, that's okay. It's time to pick up, right? This is us holding each other accountable. I'm holding you accountable. Please catch up with your goal and make sure you knock it out for the next week, so you can say actually confidently, I caught up. I'm on track now for the next week, all right? We'll see you guys in just 1 week.